All right, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Star Wars Mark of Balance. My name is Mark. I'm going to apologize early because my voice is a little hoarse from going to the bars and clubs last night. So I'm going to go for, a deep jazz radio station host today. Hope you enjoy that.
Love it.
But today I have a really great guest. I'm really excited for this interview. With Star Wars, it's about bringing people together, and I probably haven't seen this guest in maybe 5 to 6 years.
So long.
But she was one of the first people to reach out when I started the podcast, which was, invaluable for my confidence moving forward with it.
Yeah.
And she's a really great Star Wars fan. She's basically famous in the Star Wars world with her cosplay. She won't admit it, but with her cosplaying and her TikTok and everything. So we're going to hear about all of it today. So here is Miss Liv Hanewald.
Hi. Thank you for having me. I know I reached out when you started this because I am so excited whenever I see somebody else that likes Star Wars because I'm there is people who watch Star Wars, but then there's people who can really talk about Star Wars, and that's what I was like, oh my god, I have to get involved.
I know, I love it, and that's why you're here today, and it's gonna be awesome. So.
Yeah.
I always start the interviews out, what was your first memory of Star Wars? What really, either hooked you or, what got you into it?
So, I've been watching Star Wars since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that my brother's the person who got me into it because it was him who started watching the movies. My dad introduced Star Wars to my brother, but then there was me who was always just in the room because I was the younger sibling.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd watch Star Wars, but it wasn't really up until high school that I really got into it. And that was when the sequels came out again, and that kind of revamped my love for Star Wars, and I was a really big sequels fan for a while. And then quarantine happened, and that's when I became absolutely obsessed with the prequels again. Because we grew up with the prequels, but they get so much I don't know, clap back for being weird and whatnot, but they are my absolute favorites now. So it was quarantine and going insane in my house that really just made me obsessed with it again, basically.
Yeah, the prequels are getting they're just they're getting it now.
Yeah, they are, and they deserve it, especially after the sequels.
Yeah, well, a lot of people said, in quarantine they were able to, rewatch the movies, really get back into it, and that was. And, some guests I had on earlier, they talked about, they were able to watch Clone Wars and Rebels. Yes. They were able to watch all those because it's easier to watch now because they're on Disney+.
Exactly. No, and I watched Clone Wars growing up, when they were coming out on Cartoon Network. And then I watched the new season when that came out, finally, on Disney+. And then I rewatched that during quarantine, and I was like, okay, I guess I should watch Rebels. Everybody talks about it. I hate the animation style, but let me just give it a go. And I watched it the first time, and I absolutely hated it. I was like, this is so bad. And I skipped episodes. I think I skipped, the entire first season just because I was like, I can't stand Ezra. I want to, keep going and just get to, the good bits and stuff because I know Ahsoka's in it, and that's literally the only reason I wanted to watch. And then I watched it for a second time, I think, 2 months ago, and I absolutely loved it. Had a completely different opinion on it. Just because I think I gave it more time. Yeah,
I can definitely attest to the second watch of Rebels is definitely better than the first time you watched through it.
It definitely is, because I think then you are used to the characters and you know what to expect from them. Yeah. And it's such a different vibe for Star Wars because it's it's the family. Usually it's either father son or just a complete jumble of people, but it's just a show about this really close-knit weird family.
Right. Yeah. It does take its time to get there. It is definitely more focused towards kids in the beginning, and that is
a little bit
the part that really makes it okay, let's get
But
it
it's
going.
not exactly Resistance. Which
I still
watched,
didn't watch that.
I
don't think I should.
I think I might one day, but that'll be a very dark day when,
when you finally go down the rabbit hole
and watch Resistance.
Yeah, it is on my list. I feel as a Star Wars fan, I have to give it a shot.
I know. I'm just gonna look at it like the droid arcs in Clone Wars and just go.
Oh my gosh, yeah. We don't need to talk about those. Okay, so I obviously mentioned you're huge into cosplay.
Yes.
Did that start in high school or did that kind of come later?
I wanted to in high school, and I used to want to go to Comic-Cons, and I hadn't until college. But even then, I would just do closet cosplays and just wear a black outfit and
just something close to it.
Yeah, something close. And then quarantine hit.
Oh, so this is recent. This is really
completely recent. I started literally, I think January last year is when
oh wow,
I sat down and I was like, I'm obsessed with Star Wars, and I'm sick of just sitting and watching the movies all the time. I'm completely infatuated with Obi-Wan Kenobi. If I can't have that man, I'm gonna be him.
Gonna just turn into him.
I'm just gonna be him. So then I ordered, like regular Jedi robes from Amazon, and I had no idea how it was gonna go, and I was like, why am I doing this? My family's gonna be so concerned because this is genuinely like so weird. And I put out one video on my TikTok that I don't really use at that point. Like I would just like use it for like watching other people's TikToks. And it was like that parody video of the battle in Revenge of the Sith. And all of the things that Obi-Wan said. And that one blew up for no reason at all.
Your first one blew up?
Not my first one, but like that was the one that blew up. I think I put out like 3 or 4 before that, and it just absolutely like blew up for no reason. There was no skill in the video whatsoever. It was like literally me just like mouthing stupid stuff. And I was like, oh, people like this. Like that's fun because I like it too. And there was so many female Anakins out there, and I like Anakin, but I don't love him the way that I love Obi-Wan.
Of course.
So I just kept doing that, and then it grew from there. I started a series where I built his armor that he wears in the episode where he goes to save Satine. Quote unquote, save Satine. Which was so fun. And that's when I learned that I like making the stuff, because I just bought the stuff before I started making it. So I started working with foam to build armor, and I got like a heat gun and all this other stuff for Christmas. You stocked up. I stocked up on it, and paint and stuff. So I became like sort of an expert at building foam armor, because I don't have a 3D printer. That's obviously like preferred. It's preferred though, because it just looks so much better when it's 3D printed. And then you got to sand it down and everything. It's like this whole process. And then I was like, maybe I should like actually try to do some female characters, because like I've only just been doing like femme versions of these characters that I had a crush on, and I decided to learn how to sew. And that's when I made Leia's dress in Endor that the Ewoks give her.
Wow.
I made that. That was my first thing I made. And right now I'm working on an X-Wing pilot suit, which is fun.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say, my favorite one that you did was Hera Syndulla.
Oh, thank you.
The whole jumpsuit, and then obviously painting yourself green and making the head tails. I was like, that's crazy.
That took longer than any of the other things
I can
I
imagine.
made before. And it was so weird because the headpiece, I made 3 different ones.
Really?
And it was the last one that finally worked out, because you have to mold it out of aluminum foil first. Like you have to make the shape and then cover that with tape so that it's like smooth, and then cover that with non-dry clay, and then cover that with like a paintable silicone, and then more silicone, and then you peel it off. And that's how you do it. So it took so long to actually get it right. But once I did, I was so happy. It's really hard to keep on my head because it's heavy as hell. Of
course,
I had to stuff
and that was all from just YouTube videos and self-teaching yourself how to do it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What's your favorite one that you've done, you think?
I think I just started doing Bo-Katan. I love Bo-Katan.
I saw that.
But it's not finished. But I think that's my favorite right now, and I haven't done it yet, but I'm gonna be doing Cal Kestis.
Whoa.
And I love Cal.
He's awesome. He's an awesome
I feel like I'll really connect to that one. So like I guess it's not my favorite now, but I know it will be.
So are you gonna do the poncho Cal, or are you doing? No,
I'm just gonna do like just like the brown vest thing.
Right.
Anyways,
Like
I don't want to do the poncho.
The ponchos are huge in that game.
I know.
And in Star Wars, you should.
I know.
And I was looking through your page. It's dealing in absolutes, right?
Yeah.
But with 3s instead of E's and stuff, right?
Only on my Instagram, because somebody else has it. But on my TikTok, it's just dealing in absolutes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I was going through it, and I went down and I found one where Ashley Eckstein actually commented on it, and I was like, wait, what the hell? Liv's had Ashley Eckstein comment and Mark Hamill comment on her TikToks. I mean, seriously?
Both of those comments, like, on a mug. Like, I make mugs whenever somebody
You should frame it.
Like,
I mean, seriously.
I know. That was, I wrote, like, a Clone Wars musical song.
Yeah, I listened to it. I was like, why is this so good?
Thank you. That was during quarantine, too, because, like, I had nothing else to do. And so she doesn't have TikTok, so I was like, I need to get this woman to see this, because I love her so much. And, she noticed it there because people kept tagging her, and it probably annoyed the shit out of her.
She just had to.
Yeah, she was like, I'll just like give this girl what she wants. Fine. But it meant so much. And then Mark Hamill, I had an aneurysm. Like,
Yeah,
I
oh my
literally,
gosh.
didn't even know what to do with myself. Even though it was small. It was just, a comment on...
Anything.
But it's
Yeah.
Mark Hamill, so... Oh, God.
Yeah, that was crazy when you sent that to me. I'm like,
Best moment of my life.
I'm
And
like-
I don't have, a lot of Star Wars friends, so I was like, I gotta
Who do I
send this
tell?
to somebody.
literally like royalty commented,
Yeah.
which is crazy. I don't think you
Absolutely
sent me what
insane.
the actual TikTok was. I don't know what
It was me
but
in my Leia Endor dress and
Okay.
my other mutual on TikTok as Luke. I don't know. There's a thirst trap trend where people back up and stand in a door and then the lights change. And it's
the silhouette challenge or
yes,
something like
it's
that.
But we did a wholesome one where when we leaned on the door, not Yub Nub, but the newer version of the Return of the Jedi song played. And
okay.
So it was
Gotcha.
me normal and then me and Leia, and I had a caption saying how much I missed Carrie and how much Carrie meant to
okay.
me, and my comment on my video was I just thank you, and
Right.
I miss you, and I miss Carrie. Not miss Mark because he's alive, but
Because he's still
you know?
here.
Yeah, but it was really simple. It was a simple video.
Yeah, that was absolutely insane. I heard he was he just got on TikTok and
Yeah.
he was just responding to everyone. He was just commenting everywhere.
He duetted my friend Mark.
Oh, another friend, Mark.
Yes,
You
yeah.
got one with Mark.
My friend Mark made a video saying my name is Mark, your name is Mark. We should form an alliance or whatever. It was the audio from
okay.
The Office, and he duetted the video, and then my friend Mark's account just blew up.
Oh,
because,
I would explode.
you know.
Yeah. Once you get the Mark Hamill cosign, I mean,
I know. And Mark is so funny, too, because he'll, play around with people in their comments, and it's scary knowing he's on there now, though.
right? He's
There's a lot of
lurking in the
weird stuff on
comments.
there, yeah.
He's lurking. But yeah, how many followers do you have on TikTok now?
Right now I just got to 54K yesterday.
Oh, okay, just a cool 50,000 people. Unbelievable. Yeah, I'm
It's weird, man. It's weird.
that is really
It's a
weird.
lot.
I was thinking, I'm like, do I have to go on TikTok
You
now?
do.
Because I'm like, this seems like
You
the
do.
place to blow up. And you said, yeah, you got to do
It
TikTok.
absolutely is, because, I don't know, I had my cosplay Instagram before I had the TikTok.
Yeah.
And that got me nowhere. I still, have barely anything on my cosplay Instagram, but TikTok, it's you do one stupid thing.
And it just...
And just, there you go.
So I would reluctantly have to ask you for advice on TikTok
Well, I'll be
here.
here for it, so.
So, what would you? I mean, you've obviously said it doesn't really matter what you do. It could blow up.
That's the thing, and it could be really frustrating because you could spend so much time on one video, add the special effects in and everything, and it could get 20 likes,
Right.
Or nothing at
Yeah.
all. And then you could do another thing, make a meme.
And it'll just
Absolutely blow up. So it depends on the time of day. It depends on the content. Usually memes do really well though.
It really does. That's what I've noticed on Instagram.
Yeah.
Trying to grow my page.
Yeah.
It's
It's
always
the
you have to
memes.
go through the meme pages, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. It's the memes, and sometimes my cosplay stuff will do
Right,
well,
yeah.
but it usually does.
It's just luck of the draw.
Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of is there.
Yeah, I gotta give it to the meme accounts. They've been very nice to me. The ones that have 50,000, 100,000.
Yeah.
I would just reach out to them and be like, hey, I just posted this or something like that, and they're like, oh, pretty cool. And they'd follow me and like it.
Oh,
I'm like,
that's
oh,
cute.
well, you didn't have to do that.
Star
I don't
Wars
make
fans
memes.
are nice
Yeah,
sometimes.
sometimes. I mean, I there's some meme accounts that I follow. I'm like, you guys are off the rails because they're like, you like this, you like that. This is when someone tells me they like this part of Star Wars. I'm like,
know.
whoa, where are you getting angry
There's
for?
ruthless people out there, which is
It is.
Whew, there's a lot of them. But there's also a lot of good people too.
That's why I try and find the good people and put out wholesome
Stay
Star Wars
there.
content.
Yeah, keep it wholesome, man.
Of course. All right, so this is a more serious question because I'm trying to up my interview game
Oh
here.
yeah.
So, this may be an outdated question. I don't know. I'm just going to
Well,
ask
who
it.
knows? It's fine.
So, being a girl in the Star Wars fandom, did you ever feel, alienated from other girls for, putting that out there that you were really into Star Wars, or finding other girls that were into Star Wars?
I think I never felt alienated from other girls.
Yeah.
And TikTok made it really easy to find other
Okay,
girls who like
yeah.
Star Wars. I don't know any close friends of mine that really like Star Wars
Mm-hmm.
the way that I do. So it's not so much of being alienated from girls. It's being alienated from everybody who's not a nerd for Star Wars.
yeah.
So because there's definitely people who are freaked out by it
Mm.
because it can be pretty intense. I would say more of the problem that I've experienced on TikTok and other things is like there's a small group of like men that are usually from the South that just they're
creepy.
They're creepy and they don't think that girls like know anything about Star Wars. It's not all of them. It's actually like most of the men that I've met on TikTok have been like absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
But there is a group of people that's just like absolutely sexist, creepy, and it's like, oh well, you don't know anything about like clones or something like, so like
okay.
yeah, I know. It's like what is like Chewbacca's aunt's like sister's name or whatever, and if you don't know it, then like you're not a Star Wars fan. You're a fake fan. Yeah. So yeah, but most of that it's been fine.
No, that's good. I feel like that's changed a lot because I know when I talked to my sister about it, like she obviously got into Star Wars a lot later, but she's 6 years older than me, and you know she was probably into Star Wars before it was mainstream for everyone. It was definitely like a boy thing. I don't know. It
was when I was growing up too. It absolutely like was known as a boy thing, and I always loved it. So there was like never anything that like was for girls. I had one pair of pajamas, and it was Jar Jar Binks, and that was the only thing. Jar Jar pajamas. Wow. I was one of the kids that like Jar Jar's terrible, and people say that George Lucas like only put him in the movie to get kids' attention. I was one of those kids, like totally.
You were the kid that you fell for it.
Yeah. Exactly. So I had Jar Jar girl pajamas, and that was the only thing. So there wasn't a lot for girls.
Yeah, I know.
Now there is.
And now with Ashley and her universe, she really did a great job with it because now you can find so much stuff for girls.
Oh my god, so much! It's almost like hard to find stuff for guys now.
Oh yeah, I was on her website. I'm like, "Where's the guy section?" It was like four shirts. I'm like, "All right, whatever."
Okay, whatever.
Fine, Ashley.
I think she has our universe too.
It's like unisex stuff.
Yeah, unisex stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's good to hear that it was an easy transition for you and everything like that. So that's awesome. All right, so usually I ask people who their favorite character is, but I already know it. It's very obvious who your favorite character is. But we just had some set photos today from the Obi-Wan series. You posted it already. What's your favorite part about Obi-Wan? I know that's probably the most difficult question ever, but
woo! I think he's like everything that like I wish I was as a person. Okay. I'm in love with him. Like I'm infatuated with him. But like I also look up to him in a lot of ways too. I love his journey as a character. Like starting from like how different he is at the beginning of like Master and Apprentice, when he is like kind of like a loose wire, like absolute like all over the place, almost like Anakin. And then we see him like all the way at like A New Hope when he's completely calm,
super
and,
wise.
He goes through so much. Like probably more trauma than any Star Wars character at all. Like that was even over Anakin.
Easily.
Anakin didn't really go through that much. Yeah, he lost his mom, he lost Padme. That's really it. I understand that like a lot of people didn't understand him. Obi-Wan lost everyone in his life and still remained on the light side.
Yep.
So
that was always my favorite part of Obi-Wan because he is like the most tragic character and he always stuck to his morals, even to a fault sometimes, like too much.
Like too much.
Yeah.
But still he like, I don't know, he's so persistent and he is like what a Jedi should be.
Yeah.
I would argue that Ahsoka is more of a Jedi than he is sometimes. But
well, yes, I think Qui-Gon and Ahsoka are the perfect Jedi.
Yes.
And Kanan at the end.
Yeah.
But I think Obi-Wan, he was taking in so many different perspectives and he had his own beliefs that he wanted to stick to, and he failed, but that's what makes him a good character.
That's great.
Because characters fail and that's how they grow, and
exactly.
that's why he's great in Rebels and then in A New Hope. But yeah, Obi-Wan is definitely, for the comedy, the humor, his one-liners are great.
The sarcasm
all
is
that's
phenomenal.
Great. Yeah.
I love his dynamic, especially with Anakin and with Ahsoka. I love his friendship with Cody.
Well, that was a difficult friendship.
Yeah, for the most part. And I'm actually hoping that, the show might, have Cody in it, but that's a stretch.
That's a stretch.
That's a stretch.
We might see Cody in Bad Batch, maybe. I'm hoping we do. I hope we get
we should.
I think all those clones that we kind of have loose ends with, how does Wolf and Gregor not have the chips?
Yeah,
because they're in Rebels with Rex. How did that happen? What is Cody doing now? Is he just
There's
like the
so many
biggest bad?
holes that like they can fill, and I'm hoping they do. And I feel like that's what Bad Batch was for. Like that's why they started the show in the first place, because they were like, oh my god, like there's so many clone issues that are just like left, and then they come back,
and then
but,
they're
like,
just
how?
Right. So since we're on Bad Batch,
Yeah.
you know, you were telling me the other day, what do you think about it so far? I think we're 7 episodes in, 6, 7, 7 or 6, I think, something like that.
It feels like it's been going on for so long, even though it's only been like a month.
Yeah, May 4th. Yeah.
Yeah, about a month.
And
So
a couple days. Yeah.
I like the show. I do. Yes. I like it a lot. I like the dynamic of Bad Batch. I really like Omega. I think she's really cute. I thought I was gonna hate her because I usually hate children in shows.
Yeah. Like this, like the helpless child. Like that just gets dragged along.
Exactly. But I didn't expect it to be this, like, every episode has a different plot sort of situation, almost like Mandalorian season 1 in a sense, or part of season 2 too.
Yep.
But it seems like they're slowly like getting to a place where they're sticking to that one storyline, because, you know, obviously now they saw Rex, they had to remove their chips.
Yep.
But I was confused as to why Rex left. You know, I thought he was kind of going to stick with them
right.
for
Like
a
he was
while.
just like, I gotta go. It's like,
he
why?
was like, oh, like, where are you going?
Yeah.
And I don't know. But I like it a lot. I love Hunter. I love Tech.
He's awesome. Yeah.
I get a little annoyed with Wrecker sometimes.
Yeah,
but
well, he's like the big stupid
I know,
oaf kind of.
I know.
But he's like the
sometimes
heart.
I'm like, oh, he's so cute and adorable, and other times I'm like, stop it.
Shut
like,
up.
please. Yeah. And Omega's great.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting that they brought Trace and
that was cool. Rafa, yeah. And Martez sisters. I didn't have a problem with them in Clone Wars, and I liked seeing them again. I mean, it's just.
They get a lot of hate.
Yeah.
I think they have a funny dynamic, you know? I think it was just when they were brought into Clone Wars, everybody just wanted, like, Ahsoka to finally get back with the Jedi.
Exactly.
And that was, like, prolonging it. So
exactly.
I get why people don't really like them. And they're funny, and that episode was funny, but, like I said, it was just, like, a one-shot kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I think, you know, for the first couple weeks of Bad Batch, I think, you know, expectations were huge after the premiere. It was like, oh my god, this could be amazing.
Oh my god.
And then the next couple episodes kind of slowed way down, and then it was doing the, you know, one episode, like, adventure kind of thing. And I think that was, you know, to establish what they're gonna do, and then I think once they've hit their stride, then it's gonna really
blast
great.
off. Yeah,
so
for sure. I mean, that premiere was amazing,
unbelievable.
Did you stay up for that, or you?
No, I didn't want to watch that.
No. I did. Like, I waited till 3 because you know I'm a lunatic, and I swear to God, like, the episode started, and as soon as I saw the scene, I was like, I know exactly what's going on, and like I didn't know that Dave was gonna hurt us again like this. Like, he just absolutely loves to, like, destroy your heart.
And I need it. And it's great every time.
Great. I'm like, oh my god, absolutely. Like, I love this. It was a little weird that they still used Freddy's voice as Kanan.
As like a 10 or 12-year-old, yeah.
It's like this little Padawan. I was like, whoa! I didn't expect
right.
that voice to come out of him at all, but it was still amazing.
Yeah, I watched it, like, next morning, like, super early, and I knew it was going to be 70 minutes. I'm like, okay, this is going to be, you know, let's see if they can keep the pace up. Yeah. And the whole time, I was locked in. I was like, this is really good.
I forced my sister to watch it the next day.
Oh,
my
wow.
sister's like, she hasn't seen Clone Wars, but it's like, you're going to sit
and
down, you're going to watch this. And she liked it too, even though, like, she doesn't know anything about the clones. I kind of gave her, like, a little class before. I was like, listen, these are clones, but they're not. And, like, you know, that whole little breakdown there. But, yeah.
Yeah, that was I said it in my first review of the episodes, was like, that was like the 4th Order 66 scene we had in 2 years between Fallen Order, Clone Wars, and then this. I was like, geez, this is so much Order 66.
And we're probably going to get more in Kenobi.
I mean, I don't know if they'll do
art for
it. They might. You think they'll do, like, flashbacks to it? Because I know this is 5 years after Revenge of the Sith. I think
10.
they said 10 years. Oh my gosh,
I know, that's
way out.
Yeah, it is. So you know, there's so many possibilities for that show. Like, I know we're, like, kind of segueing into that now, but I saw that they're looking at concept art for what they didn't put into Revenge of the Sith, because there was a lot of, like, cut stuff from the temple that they didn't want to put into the movie because it's a little too dark. Understandably,
right.
I wish they did, but they didn't. Not everybody wants to see Anakin slaughter children.
I could go without that.
But yeah, it's 10 years after. I'm wondering whether or not, like, we're going to get a lot of Luke in there.
Yeah, I think maybe he'll be like a faceless kid you could see in the distance, kind of like they did in Rebels. Like, he's over there.
Yeah,
we know that's him. Like, yeah, because I don't think they'll want to, like, mess with that and have, like, a kid, but maybe they will.
I'm just so interested to see what they're going to do. Because it's not necessarily, I don't think they're even going to be, like, close to, have you read Kenobi, the Legends book?
No, I didn't, no.
So that takes place literally right after he gets to Tatooine.
Yeah.
And it's, like, him adjusting to life there, and getting close to the family, like, kind of having, like, a semi-romance with some random lady. Yeah, she gets pumped. But, and then, like, he sends them away. It's a really good story, but, like, now that this show takes place 10 years after, it's not going to be able to work that way.
Yeah, I'm curious if it'll all be on Tatooine and then kind of just work the story through that, and then with just flashbacks, and then maybe, Darth Vader.
I have one theory that, like, I'm passionate about. Darth Vader and Obi-Wan are going to fight again. I don't think it's going to be in person. I think it's going to be, like, they're going to form, like, a dyad and, like, see each other and, like, talk to each other that way and be forced to actually, like, see and converse. And I think within, like, those little moments, like, that would make sense for them to have another battle. Like, they're in person, but they're not at the same time.
Yeah.
So that, like, because when you see somebody within those, like, forced time connections, you can't see their surroundings. It's just them and in your surroundings. So I don't know. That's my theory.
I like that theory. Yeah, because I don't want them to fight or meet in person, but I think the show can do so many great things through flashbacks, through the Force Ghost. I mean, he's got to learn how to be a Force Ghost from Qui-Gon. Even though the other day I read that Liam Neeson said, "Oh, I haven't been approached." I don't believe it. There's no shot they don't, because it's literally one of the biggest plot points at the end of the Revenge of the Sith. You're gonna learn from Qui-Gon.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, well, we have to see that now.
Wait, man, I can't wait, because he's gonna be in it.
He's gonna be.
There's no way that
he
he's
does
not
voiceover for Clone Wars. Like, why wouldn't he be in another live action? Like, he's down to be in Star Wars some more.
Yeah. So. In a recent interview that Ewan was in, not the one where he was talking to Pedro.
Oh my gosh,
that was great too. He said that he filmed a scene like 2 weeks ago where he was with somebody very special to him that he has not been on camera with yet, and I'm so confused.
Right. Yeah, I read that too. He was like someone super special, and I looked through the cast list. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, like, who?
Yeah.
And do you mean, like, yourself, or do you mean Obi-Wan? Because if there's, like, flashbacks and stuff, I'm like, Ahsoka or Satine, maybe?
Wouldn't that be crazy?
I would die. I would absolutely die. More for Ahsoka. But...
Right. Yeah. I mean, 6 episodes is a mini series. They better be an hour long each. They've got to be. We deserve it. Yeah. But I'm really excited that they're doing a mini series. I did not want it dragged out over a couple things, but I think it's going to be really, really amazing.
It honestly, I have like so much faith in that show. I feel like it's going to be the best Star Wars show that we ever get.
I think so too. I mean, good luck to them, because the amount of hype and expectations are unbelievable.
So nervous.
I'd be so
if I was
scared
them,
to write
because Star
that.
Wars fans are ruthless. If something like isn't exactly the way that they want something to be, like, they lash out, and it's terrifying. Like the sequels, like when you see people talking about the sequels, it's either like they have absolute love for it, or it's just like this burning hatred of what they do. What is your stance on that? Because I don't think we've ever talked about that.
Yeah, so the sequels, Force Awakens, fun movie.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't really say much else. I mean,
it's
it is the plot of A New Hope, just
literally
redid.
Yeah.
The best part of it was Harrison Ford and Finn. Yes. I think Rey was, serviceable. I don't think she was doing anything crazy outside the lines, but Luke didn't do anything crazy outside the lines in A New Hope.
Yeah.
Poe was really cool. I mean, he was super sick.
Yeah.
Last Jedi, really liked it the first time through. Second time I watched it, I'm
liked it the first time
time through, I was like, I like this. Okay. Second time through, I was like, maybe I don't like this as much. And, ever since then, it's kind of always been like a back and forth for me. Like, sometimes I really like what they did with Luke. Other times, like, I don't know if I like how they got to that point. I like what it was representing with Luke, but I don't think I liked the decision they made with Ben and him doing the, the lightsaber in the hut thing. And then the ending, I was not a fan of how Luke talked to Ben, like when he was distracting him basically, and he's like,
"Oh my god, I know." Actually, that's like one of my biggest points, and my dad's too.
Yeah.
Whenever we sit down and we watch that movie, we're pissed especially like the little
Yeah.
shoulder thing. I'm like, he would not do that. Like, where did the Luke go from Return of the Jedi, who was like totally calm, cool, and collected and respectful, like a Jedi?
Yeah. I kind of thought when he would like find Ben again that they would have like an actual heart-to-heart, or Luke would be like, you know, he did say I'm sorry, but I don't think his actions represented that he was sorry. He was just kind of like, see you around, kid. Like, okay.
You know what? And I think Luke Skywalker, out of anybody, would understand that hope is not lost with a person like Ben. I would expect Leia not to think so, because Leia never forgave Darth Vader.
No,
she never forgave her father, and she hated him forever. But Luke was very different, and the fact that like he completely just almost taunts him in that scene. I get why he does it, but at the same time I'm like, totally not the right way, and I don't think that's how he would have acted.
No, I know.
Just feels
and why did you bring up what your dad used to say to him? Your dead dad. Like, come on, that's pretty dark.
It's like terrible, man.
Yeah, Last Jedi. You know, it's you know, some days I really like it, other days I still do think it's like, you know, beautifully shot and everything. I don't think the Rose and Finn story arc is terrible, but
it's not. I like Canto Bight. I think Canto Bight is a really cool planet, and it brings a lot to Star Wars. And like they did get pretty political with that. It was a good point. Nobody wanted it, but it's like, I guess that's cool. Like, you're making a point about like the world and wars and whatnot.
Yeah.
But such a waste of Finn. That's what I always say. Because
I will agree.
Finn had so much potential to become this amazing like stormtrooper turned Jedi, and they didn't do it. And I'm just like. Forever.
I think they were just too scared to do anything crazy, to be honest. I mean, Ryan was ready to go, but I don't think Disney wanted anything crazy.
Like, they were like, no, we're just going to stick with this girl.
Yeah.
This
and then
girl that we don't know who she's going to be.
Rise of Skywalker, I think, is a failure of a movie. I really do.
You know what's funny about that is the first time I saw it in theaters, I like really liked it. And then, like you said about Last Jedi, every time I watch it, there's like a new plot hole that I see. I'm like, what are they doing? And the only thing I like about that movie is Babu Frick now. I love Babu Frick. I have the 10-inch Babu Frick pop figure. I have a little toy. I have a button. I love
all about him.
All about him, man. I love that thing. It's so cute.
I think, the only thing I liked in Rise of Skywalker was, you know, Han Solo and Ben having that heart-to-heart.
That was such a good
moment.
And
I liked Poe's whole story with, I forget her name, but the girl he used to, you know, ride with.
The one with the weird mask.
Yeah, they had like a conversation. I think her name's Zori.
Zori. Yeah,
Zori.
it is Zori.
Yeah,
Zori.
So I like their heart-to-heart about, you know, what did he say? They said something really good. There's more of us. That's what it is. I like that sentiment. Like, there's more of us. Like, they make it seem like there's more of them, but there's more of us, normal people.
I'm reading the book about Poe right now. I'm not too far into it.
How is it so far?
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's about him, like, and his teen years and leaving home and getting involved in the rebellion. And it goes into his, like, friendship with Zori.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice. It's nothing crazy.
I've been prioritizing, you know, books that aren't really set in the sequel era. I like Bloodlines. Bloodlines was cool because that set it up really nicely, I think.
Yeah.
And it
that
gave
author just followed my Instagram back, and I'm...
Claudia?
Yeah, Claudia did.
Jesus, Liv, come on. Save some for the rest of us.
Oh my god, because I'm writing a book right now that I don't have any plan for whatsoever, but I started it like a couple months ago, and I was like, if only I can like get a connection with the Star Wars author, like maybe I can actually make something out of it. But when she followed me back, I was like, and I'm just trying not to bother her.
Right, she's awesome.
She's great.
Did you tag her or something, or did you like DM her?
I just followed her, and I think I commented on one of her posts.
And she
was
nice.
Yeah. I know, it was totally random. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I love her books, and I love E.K. Johnston's books are really good too.
I did like Ahsoka. That book was
great.
Really great.
It was a really
I listened to that on audiobook, so Ashley did the voiceover.
Too.
I was like, this is perfect.
And the Padme books too, because you have the actress from
Queen's Shadow or something.
Queen's Shadow and Queen's Peril. There's two of them.
Yeah.
I really liked Queen's Shadow's the first one, and that's like her going into the Senate. And then Queen's Peril was the one I liked more because it literally takes place during Phantom Menace and just fills in all the gaps. So it's like you learn about all the friendships with her handmaidens and like all these little secrets about like the palace, and I don't know, I really liked it because Phantom Menace I feel like it has a lot of backlash. But I love that movie now more than I ever did because I read that book. Because I'm like, oh, this is where like Padme was doing this, and like Obi-Wan's here, and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are in that book too, which is fun because it's like little Padawan Obi-Wan, and he's like the worst, and I love him.
Yeah, that movie does age really well.
It does.
I think there's a lot of things in it that set up for what's happening later in Star Wars that you can draw from, and then obviously
it's so entertaining too. A lot of people think that it's not, but I'm always like thoroughly entertained.
The last hour and a half is like 3 battles.
It's
all
great.
happening at once. It's
I
like,
know.
this is sick.
It's Darth Maul, man. Like you don't get Darth Maul in any of the other movies except for Solo, I guess. But
you'll never
but
see
that's
him
like
again.
it's like that's it. But yeah, there's.
All right, so I was already talking about my Star Wars movie, kind of thoughts on sequels. So I got to get the movie ranking. We can go. You can include Rogue One and Solo if you want, or you can just do 1 through 9.
I feel like I have to include those 2 movies just because I love Rogue One.
Yeah. Okay. So
this is actually I was. Oh.
There you go. Go for it.
I was thinking about this like on the way here, and I was like, "What the hell am I gonna say?" Because I know like. My first 2 movies, my first one is absolutely Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
And I know everybody says that, but there's a reason for it because it is the best movie. Like
it's really something special.
And then my second favorite is Return of the Jedi. I just absolutely love it. I know that's like a lot of people like Empire Strikes Back more than that one, but something about Return of the Jedi, I like the Ewoks, and I like Luke in that movie better too, and I like Leia, and I just think like the dynamic between the 3 of them is like so grown at that point that it just makes for a really great movie.
Yeah.
And then after that, this is so controversial, but it's very controversial. But I have to say it because I watched this movie probably more than I watch any of the other movies. Is Attack of the Clones?
Wow, a top 3 with Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones.
Wow.
I understand that it's not the best, and like Anakin and Padme's romance is just like so terrible in that movie, but I think that's why I like it, because like I sit down there and like my sister and I play drinking games with it because there's so much you can do with that, like between like I don't like sand and I killed them all. It's just like, oh my god. And then Obi-Wan has a mullet and it's amazing. That's my favorite Obi-Wan look.
He was a good look,
and I think it's interesting to go into like the start of the Clone Wars, and that's why like segueing into the next thing, like I know it's not a movie, but the Clone Wars TV show like means so much to me. So that comes in right after there because I absolutely adore it. And I think that was what really made me obsessed with Star Wars the way that I am now.
It expands the world so much.
So much. Like so much between Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka like really makes Star Wars for me. Because I think it's like absolutely brilliant. And then after the Clone Wars, I would say Empire Strikes Back. Then Phantom Menace. And then A New Hope. So like we have all of the.
This is the craziest list, but it's like a good list. It's like a good list. It's like a crazy list, but it's a good one.
And then oh, actually no, wait. Before Phantom Menace, I would say. I mean, after Phantom Menace. Whoa, this is confusing. It's like
I should have got a whiteboard in here. Yeah.
I like Rogue One more than I like A New Hope. I think.
I really like Rogue One. I really think it's an awesome like tone set.
Fantastic. Yeah. It's just absolutely, and God, what's the K2SO?
Yeah,
I love that droid. That's my favorite droid, like ever. That and BD1 are like my favorite droids ever.
BD's awesome.
He's so cute. He's awesome. He's like so cute.
Yeah.
And then after A New Hope, I think I would go with The Last Jedi, just because I love Rey and Ben, and like big Reylo stan over here.
There you go.
And I just like their moments are so spicy and like, it's so entertaining. And then The Force Awakens, and then Solo, and then Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
But I love them all. That's the thing.
No, yeah.
Like this ranking changes all the time, like depending on what I'm obsessed with.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy all of the movies. Like, no matter how many mistakes and like plot holes there are, if it's Star Wars, I'm gonna like it.
Right. It takes you to a different world. I mean, it's a ranking, but it's not like number 12 is just the worst
terrible.
movie
Yeah,
ever. It's
like
just
horrible.
You have your favorites.
Yeah.
I think with Attack of the Clones, it's I'm going back to
Yeah.
it. I think it's like a mixture of like a guilty pleasure and like Shakespeare.
Yes.
Because I feel like Shakespeare, the lines are super corny if you read them. I mean, they're
Awful.
elegantly written, but
Yeah,
they
but
are kind of corny, like saying everything to this girl's face. Like, this is exactly how I feel.
But that's what makes it great. And I feel like that it's totally justified for how awkward both Padme and Anakin are, because Anakin was never taught how to flirt. Like Obi-Wan probably never even gave him the talk, if we want to go like that route.
I don't think
There's
so.
no way. I feel like Qui-Gon gave Obi-Wan the talk.
I could believe that.
Thoroughly and like uncomfortably.
Yes.
And then Obi-Wan was scarred and never wanted to do it again and just kept it from Anakin altogether.
Yeah.
So at this point, he's like going through puberty. He's like, oh my god, what am I feeling for this girl? I gotta flirt with her. I don't know how to do that.
We're on this diplomatic mission together.
Yeah. And Padme, on the other hand, after reading like all the Padme books, she never had like experience with any guy except for Clovis, I guess, but that's a little later on.
Yeah.
And Clovis is terrible. So
he's just terrible.
at this point, she's like, oh my god, cute man saying like cute things to me.
He's
love
a Jedi, cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like the forbidden love. So I feel like you're not supposed to think that it isn't cringy. It's supposed to be cringy, but it's just what happens, you know?
Yeah.
Between two unexperienced younglings.
Right. Yeah, they're both closed off from the world really for their whole life.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like that ranking. It's new and it's different. I feel like a lot of people have given me their rankings, and usually the top 3 are about the same, and then like 4, 5, 6 can kind of be like interchanged. But yeah, this one was a good ranking.
I'm just going by what I watched the most, because if I watch it the most, then like obviously that's my ranking. You know, I can say all I want about like the flaws of Attack of the Clones, but oh my god, I love that movie.
But I love it.
It's like, oh my god, my wedding song is in that movie and like everything. So even though, well, I'm not even like in a relationship, and I plan ahead of time.
Your whole
I'm
Star Wars
walking
wedding
down
ready.
the aisle to Across the Stars, and that's how it's gonna be, no matter what. I don't care who it is. That's
great
happening.
song. That is a great song.
Yeah.
It really is good. And that's the best part of the prequels is the music is I think just way better than the original. I mean, the originals have great music, obviously, classic. But I think the prequels have dynamic music. Like it's up, it's down, it's sad, it's depressing, it's everywhere.
You have like Across the Stars, then you have like Duel of the Fates. And
it's amazing.
Good.
It's all amazing.
So good. I'll listen to it when I'm driving the car sometimes. I'm like the little like Anakin versus Obi-Wan song. I'm like driving my car.
That's how I study and do work. Like I have to listen to like that kind of music. I can't listen to like music with words or anything.
Yeah,
like
and there's
that,
cool like lo-fi arrangements too. That
there are a lot of cool YouTubers that do like hip hop lo-fi.
Yeah,
like
I love it. There's
Star Wars
one of
stuff.
like Ahsoka studying and like
I've seen that one.
It's weird, but I like it.
They're good ones.
So there's a lot of them.
Cool. I mean, I don't have anything else for you. If you have anything else to say.
No, but thank you for having me. It was really fun. I ramble.
No, I think it was all good stuff. I had a really good time. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you.
And I hope you all enjoyed listening, and stay safe, stay healthy, and may the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
There you go.
And with
Boom.
your spirit.
And with your spirit.